Hello YouTube, Mmanriquez805 here, and I have for you guys today a really good and really close OU Wi-Fi battle. So of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, then make sure to hit the like button down below. And if you guys like to play lower tiers on Wi-Fi, then feel free to follow me on Twitter, just because I do want to start getting some lower tier Wi-Fi battles. And with that being said, guys, also make sure to answer the question of the day. So going into this battle, the biggest threats I saw on my opponent's team were probably going to be that Noivern and Togekiss just because it is very bulky, and if I lose my Magnezone and Beedrill, it could be a problem after a nasty plot. Noivern basically outspeeds my entire team, and I really have no safe switch into it. So he is going to lead off with Ferrothorn as I lead off with my Magnet Pull Magnezone. This is like literally the most perfect lead matchup that anybody can ever have, automatically trapping your opponent's steel type Pokemon. And actually his Ferrothorn was the only thing stopping my Mega Beedrill from being able to put in some massive work to his team. So the fact that I got rid of that turn 2 is going to be very helpful to me later in this match. As he brings in the Noivern, I am locked into Hidden Power Fire, and he most likely does know this, so I'm going to be forced to switch out of predicting him to go for the Flamethrower. I bring in my Clefable, but he actually turns out to have the Boom Burst, which does do more damage than Flamethrower, obviously getting off a solid 40% amount of damage on my incoming Clefable. But I'm thinking that he may be fearing Hurricane either not knocking me out or him missing Hurricane, so predicting him to switch out so I can keep my Clefable as a constant switch into this Noivern, I'm actually going to go for the Moonblast. Unfortunately for me though, he ends up getting the Confusion with the Hurricane. Luckily I don't hit myself in Confusion, which means after this soft bolt I will be able to live another Hurricane if he does decide to go for it, and in return I will be able to knock out this Noivern with the Moonblast, and I no longer have to worry about it. But he ends up going for the Boom Burst, which means I know I can live this, I don't have to hit myself in Confusion, and I can knock this thing out, right? So come on, Clefable hit itself in its Confusion, and this was actually very bad for me because Clefable was the only remote switch in / check counter, whatever you want to count it as, that I had for this Noivern, and he's able to knock me out. So I'm gonna bring in my Scarf Magnezone. I know Scarf Magnezone doesn't outspeed Noivern, but I'm hoping that I can live a Flamethrower and in return finish him off with a Thunderbolt potentially. However though, he does end up getting a crit. I did run a damage calc after the match. A Life Orb Flamethrower crit does not matter because he would have been able to finish me off even if he didn't get the crit. And now I have to basically rely on my Latios being able to live a potential Draco Meteor, but it turns out that he has Dragon Pulse. I live the hit on 7 HP, and in return I'm going to be able to just destroy this Noivern with the Draco Meteor. In hindsight, I really should have gone for Psyshock because there was a chance maybe he would have wanted to switch into Azumarill or Togekiss. Plus, I could have missed Draco Meteor, which means the battle would have been over right here, because Noivern basically outspeeds and destroys the remainder of my team. So I'm able to get rid of the humongous threat known as Noivern, as on the double down we both bring in our Megas. I'm not going to go ahead and Mega Evolve just yet. What I'm going to do is actually switch into my Landers, because I didn't want to go for Protect as he went for Fake Out, and then as I switched into my Landers, him go for Ice Punch, catching my incoming Landers. So by switching directly into my Landers, I'm very positive that he is just going to go straight for the Fake Out. After the Intimidate, I guarantee myself being able to live an Ice Punch, and obviously Fake Out is not going to be doing too much damage to me, as I'm in a perfect situation where I can either go for the Stealth Rocks or go for the U-Turn. I believe I do just end up going for the U-Turn, predicting him to bring in either the Togekiss or the Rotom. As he does bring in the Rotom, this will give me a perfect chance to bring in my Beedrill. So what I can do is Mega Evolve, because at this point, as I mentioned earlier, with his Ferrothorn gone, my Mega Beedrill can definitely put in a lot of work against his team. The only thing is though, I have to get off prior damage on the Lopunny, and I have to get off prior damage on Rotom, because I'm pretty positive that I will be able to OHKO both Azumarill and Togekiss unless they are very bulky. As I do get off that necessary damage on the Rotom, what I'm going to do is actually U-turn into my Keldeo, because Keldeo can actually live a Volt Switch coming from non-modest max special attack Rotom, but he gets a crit. Which honestly that crit probably wouldn't have been game changing, just because he most likely went into either his Azumarill or his Lopunny, both which I have nothing to safely switch into, so I still would have probably fought it off Keldeo, so it's not that big of an issue. As he brings in the Togekiss, I was very scared that this Poison Jab would not be able to OHKO, but no, Togekiss just dies, which is extremely good for me. As he brings in the Lopunny, I did not reveal to him earlier that I have Protect, so this turn thinking, okay, he may go for an Ice Punch, predicting me to switch out, so I'm going to go for Protect, plus there's a chance he may want to go for the Fake Out. As he does go for the Ice Punch, I'm going to take this opportunity to get off that needed prior damage with U-Turn on this Lopunny, and what I can do now is U-Turn into my Landorus, and basically at this point, I'm pretty positive that I'd won the match, because after that damage from U-Turn, I bring Lopunny down to the point where a Poison Jab will be able to finish him off, and of course his last Pokemon at this point is the Azumarill, which again, unless it's very bulky, which even then I think max defense, max HP, Azumarill will still get OHKO'd by a adaptability stab super effective Poison Jab. Either way though, all I have to do is just fodder off my Landorus here, as he ends up going for 2 Fire Punches. I don't really know if that was a misclick or not on his part, but honestly, even if he had gone for the Ice Punch instead of Fire Punch, the amount of HP that it was at, I would have still been able to finish him off with Poison Jab, so in the long run, it really didn't matter that he went for Fire Punch over Ice Punch. However though, the score will change, but score isn't that big of a factor in a match in my opinion. So I'm able to knock out the Lopunny after the U-Turn. At this point, his last mon is going to be the Azumarill, which, unless he's Choice Banded Adamant and crits me with Aqua Jet, there should be no way that he will be able to finish me off. So he is going to go for the Aqua Jet, and this does a solid like 55%, which I was really surprised about, because I thought it would honestly do more than that, as I'm able to finish him off with the Poison Jab. I highly doubt the crit mattered, just because I think Togekiss is bulkier than Azumarill. Oh, actually, I forgot about this Rotom. Sorry. My bad. But yeah, it doesn't matter. Rotom just dies too. So yeah, Beedrill playing the role of Noivern for my team and just putting in a lot of work against my opponent's team. But honestly, I did not expect Noivern to be such a big problem like it was. I shouldn't have gone straight for the Moonlight or Soft Bullet, I believe it was, with my Clefable. I should have gone straight for the Moonblast to get rid of Noivern. That was kind of a bad play on my part, because Noivern, I believe, took out like half of my team and put me in a very big disadvantage. Luckily though, I was able to make the comeback and pull out the victory still. And of course guys, if you did enjoy, then you know what to do. As for my answer for the question of the day, I personally like to watch all tiers. I don't have a specific preference, you could say, just because I do want to start getting more into every tier this generation instead of just focusing on one. But yeah, let me know what your answer to the question of the day was. And with that being said guys, I will see y'all tomorrow, so later everybody.